The viral Korean skincare brand Beauty of Joseon has just arrived in America's Sephora stores. And we have to talk about it. Welcome back to the rabbit hole. Now, I want to make this video as helpful and as shareable as possible. I'm seeing a lot of people ask if this sunscreen that is currently on the Sephora website is Beauty of Joseon's viral sunscreen that you've been hearing about for the last couple of years. And the answer to that question simply is no. No, it is not. That is why the brand is calling this their cult favorite, now in a dewier finish. I have to admit I'm flustered by this because it's either your cult favorite or it's a different product. It just can't be both, Beauty of Joseon. I love you, but it can't be both, and that in itself gives it away. I'll put up on the other side of the screen the packaging of the original viral K-Beauty sunscreen. And the one that I'm currently holding up for you is my personal favorite. This one is also not available on the Sephora website. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why this is the popular Korean sunscreen and why it's not at Sephora, even though the other products you're seeing on the Sephora website are most likely identical to the mask, the cleanser, the moisturizer that you could buy in Korea. We have a lot to talk about. I'm going to start by talking about some good today, and then we're going to kind of break down what this all means, why there's confusion. So I will have some timestamps in the description box below. I will also go ahead and give you some affiliate links to the Sephora website. I am so happy to tell you that the prices on these products are currently the same as they were on the US Beauty of Joseon website, the same prices you could get through Amazon. It's funny to talk about because I know that some of my Asian beauty fans that shop from YesStyle as well as Style Vana are looking at these prices going, whoa, those prices are still higher than we pay. And yes, that's been true for a while. It has always been more affordable to import directly from Korea or from Hong Kong. But if you've been keeping up, things are getting a little more complicated, and that might not end up being the best route. We really do not know at this point. I cannot express to you enough how much we don't know. So ultimately, the bottom line is I am just happy to see an $18 sunscreen at Sephora. And again, sticking with more good conversations here, this Revive Eye Serum, this is $17 for 1 fluid ounce of eye serum that contains retinaldehyde. This is practically unheard of. Here, let's just do it. We're on the Sephora website. Let me take a moment to look up a retinol eye serum. We have Sunday Riley popped up, $65. The Inky List, even the Inky List will be a ½ ounce. So Beauty of Joseon is ultimately more affordable than the Inky List. We have Summer Fridays, we have Murad, look at this, $89, Retinol Youth Renewal Eye Serum. It's retinol, not retinal. Retinol as an ingredient requires 2 conversions to get into the active form. Retinal with an A requires 1 conversion. $89 for a ½ ounce. So again, Beauty of Joseon coming to Sephora and having this product available for $17 is mind-blowing. I'm so excited. They will also be carrying the Ground Rice and Honey Glow Mask. I talked about that in my favorite K-Beauty products of 2024. That was such a phenomenal release. Just such a good mask for those of us that have a little bit more of a sensitive skin type. And all of these products are coming to Sephora as of July 17th. That is so soon. I am so excited. I mean, every one of these products, possibly the sunscreen excluded, but we're getting there. Every one of the other products that Beauty of Joseon is bringing to Sephora, I think all of these are great options, and I love how affordable they are, and I love that this is really going to give people who are curious about K-Beauty a chance to try K-Beauty without having to import from Korea, especially in this time of concerns about tariffs. And it doesn't even end with Beauty of Joseon. If you are just interested in buying more K-Beauty from Ulta and Sephora, we are going to be getting Medicube at Ulta soon. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for that. I love the Medicube devices. I just got word that we are getting Toradin at Sephora as well. So it's an exciting time in a lot of ways. But let's do it. Let's turn our attention to the bad. Now, before I move on here, I want to make sure to say, when I say that I am, concerned about this, it's just my opinion, just my perspective. But I ultimately feel like we need to have this conversation because, again, over on Beauty of Joseon's Instagram, I'm seeing a lot of people confused. A lot of people are looking at what Beauty of Joseon is posting to their Instagram account And from Beauty of Joseon's perspective, I kind of understand why they don't want to just tell people, well, no, unfortunately, your government won't let us sell our viral product. We actually had to follow the US FDA guidelines and make a sunscreen out of a list of filters that actually hasn't been updated since 1999. I totally understand why Beauty of Joseon, a Korean company, doesn't really want to come over here and just say something like that. I mean, it might be frustrating from their perspective. They had to make a whole new sunscreen just for our country, right? You see why I'm trying to give some grace here to Beauty of Joseon. I don't want to just sound like I'm attacking them. I get it. At the same time, a lot of people simply do not know a lot about how sunscreen works. And can you fault them? It's not the easiest topic in the world. It's actually quite a complicated topic if we're being honest. But I do want to express some concerns. If you've never seen my face before, something that is just so big for me is I care a lot about people knowing what they're buying. I care about companies being transparent. And that's ultimately my concern. I feel like there's a gap in transparency here. This photo right here will be taken from the Sephora website, one of the slides when you are looking at the product. And again, we've already talked about this. They say it's the cult favorite Korean SPF, now lighter, dewier, and glowier, which all means that it is actually not the original sunscreen because you can't have the original cult favorite that is now dewier, glowier, etc. The trendy K-Beauty sunscreens, we will take the Aqua Relief Sun as an example. These all utilized filters that are not approved in the United States of America. The problem, in a probably overly condensed nutshell here, is that in the United States of America, sunscreen is considered a drug. And while in theory, this is a good thing because it actually means there are stricter requirements and regulations for companies selling sunscreens because it matters. It prevents skin cancer. In practice, this has actually really held us back. There are requirements for animal testing. As a world, we have moved away from animal testing on cosmetics. It's 2025. I don't think I've met a person who would say, yeah, test on animals. Ugh, who cares about them? Nobody thinks that. These companies know this. They don't want to do the testing, but it is our government who says, but you have to. This is the way we regulate it. It's a drug. So what's happened is nobody has done any animal testing, and we still have this very short list of filters, again, that haven't been updated since 1999. Whereas in the countries that don't have these very strict regulations, they are finding less irritating filters that actually block the sun's rays even better. This is why I love Korean sunscreen with these new filters, because these new filters don't irritate my skin in the way the American approved filters sadly do. So let's come back around to why I'm frustrated with this kind of marketing. Beauty of Joseon, again, went viral for these gorgeous sunscreens. I'll just put up on the screen the application of one of these. You see, what you're looking at is 26 additional years of research. 26 years of finding new and better filters, figuring out how to have genuinely zero white cast. This is what led to these viral sunscreens. Of course they went viral. They are genuinely incredible sunscreens. But again, as somebody who cares about transparency and people knowing what they're buying, Beauty of Joseon, this is not your cult favorite sunscreen. This is the FDA compliant sunscreen. In a nutshell, it is taking everything that made that sunscreen viral and subtracting 26 years of breakthroughs. Again, this isn't to say that this is necessarily going to be a bad sunscreen. I'm even seeing that it's a water-resistant sunscreen. That's exciting. But what I really don't like is this. I am looking at the ingredients page as somebody who has certain allergies. Why are these filters not listed? How do we live in a country that, again, supposedly cares so very much about people buying sunscreen and clarity, and like I just said in Friday's video, that cares about people knowing the volume of your products? How is this permitted? This is a genuine oversight in everything. Where are the filters? I have absolutely no idea what filters Beauty of Joseon is using in their sunscreen. And that's wild. And the reason why this is okay is because there's some sort of little asterisk somewhere on the Sephora website saying the ingredients list on the website may not be the latest. Always check the box. Again, that is required to be accurate. So for those of us with allergies, does it just not matter if we buy something that ends up having our allergens in it? But it doesn't just end here, because Beauty of Joseon could answer people's questions on Instagram. What filters are in this? Now, if you missed Friday's video, there is a little bit more to this conversation that I think we really need to talk about in two separate aspects. Again, I need you all to remember, if you are importing Korean sunscreens from YesStyle, Stylevana, Olive Young, Style Korean, etc., I need you all to know that right now there is some red tape in place. It doesn't necessarily mean that we are never going to be able to order sunscreens from these places. But I also don't want to deny that it does seem that there is an attempt to block those sunscreens. That's what it sounds like. Whether it can actually happen is a different story. Again, we talked about this in Friday's video. But the second part to this is that there is the Safe Sunscreen Act currently going on, and that would help to update our regulations. So I once again have to plea, Americans, if you really want to start being able to purchase the real Korean sunscreens, the real viral Korean sunscreens that have no white cast, that are non-irritating, that protect us better, please contact your representatives. Let's do everything we can to modernize America. Oh my goodness. And in the meantime, I think it's time that we put some pressure on the retailers that are using this whole asterisk, check the box for the latest ingredients on the website. There is no reason for people with allergies and sensitivities and people who are avoiding certain ingredients for personal preferences. There's no reason that we don't have the ability to look at the ingredients list before we place our orders. And my friends, that brings us to the end of today's video. As always, I would love to hear from you. What do you think of all of this? You know, prior to finding out about this situation, my plan was to make a video about the latest K-beauty that is at Sephora and Ulta, and I'm still doing that. It's just not quite the fun and here's the application kind of video I planned. But goodness gracious, this is 3 videos in a row where I've had to talk about K-beauty sunscreens and the difference between the American versions. So I hope this is helpful. Please, again, send this to your friends if any of your friends are confused, because not everybody knows. Again, sunscreen is a tough topic, and we just cannot expect people to know in advance the difference between an American Korean sunscreen and a Korean sunscreen. It's complicated. But as always, thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you have a most wonderful upcoming week. See you all next time.